killed Joey.
What? That's some... Joe, what the...
Woo! We waited 2 weeks, and it was a decent wait. What's happening, y'all? Lamont and my wife, we're reviewing Power Episode 9, Scorch the Earth. And for those of you that said Benny and Jason would die, much to the chagrin of those dorks that are always down there telling you that your reviews and theories are wrong, you got it right. Their asses is dead. And as I always continue to say, there's no such thing as a bad theory, because those people that was down there picking on y'all saying that those two were gonna die are the same people that are always swearing up and down that their theories is right, and they said there was no way that Jason was gonna die. Well, his ass is dead. And we're just diving right on into this frame by frame. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications so when I drop videos, you get them. If you like this Power t-shirt and you want to get one free, leave a comment in the video description and subscribe. And also, if you're a cord cutter, check out the link in the video description. First scene, Tommy drops off cash. What did you think was the significance of that?
Tommy is in mourning.
True.
And he's trying to leave Cash in good hands, and feel like his father is the best place to do it. Apparently, him and Cash's daddy has a decent relationship.
Right.
Or you can assume that Keisha has such a decent relationship with his daddy, that he's okay with Tommy.
Do you think Tommy will ever see Cash again? I think this is the writing off of Cash. Cash is done.
I think he hesitated,
like
there may be a possibility,
right.
but good and well, it ain't happening.
Yeah, that's it. Goodbye, Cash. You had a nice run. We'll see you later. Next scene, Blanca finds Tommy outside of Kadim's crib. This is where she confronts him about killing LaKeisha. What did you think was significant about that?
Well, it's letting you know that Blanca knows Keisha is dead. Tommy, I think she believed Tommy when Tommy said that, he didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh yeah, she absolutely believed it.
Yeah, because she paused a little bit. And so basically, everybody knows that Keisha is dead.
Right. The mystery for me was how in the world did Blanca find out if Tommy didn't report it? And that one was simple. They were supposed to meet to go to witness protection, and Keisha never turned herself in, so they went to the house to pick her up, and that's how Blanca knew what was going on. Then they find her body because Tommy never called. But I mean, we all knew Tommy won't gonna call because Tommy's a gangster. He ain't calling nobody, and he's got a bona fide alibi, just like we said in our video this week. Check the cameras at the mall.
Right.
Check them. Yeah.
Or talk to Cash.
Yep. Next scene, we see Ghost in a building that he's pretending like he's gonna buy for the QCP, which we find out later has other reasons for this episode. But also in that same scene, we see Ramona and Loretta Walsh roll up on Ghost saying, "I'm here to help your future. You're gonna be lieutenant governor." And honey, where did you hear that from? Where did you hear that Ghost could be a governor, lieutenant governor from?
Heard it from you.
Of course. Yeah, of course. And see, folks, that's why I said no theory can be wrong. This show is getting very Game of Thrones-ish. What was the significance of him meeting up with Loretta?
Making an introduction. Ghost had no intentions of being in any type of political role.
Right.
And so this is just making the introductions and making it formal.
Right, because he looked very surprised himself that they wanted to do this with him. And I think he's thinking in his mind, I'm a gangster. What am I going to look like doing this? But hey, they spinning it like Game of Thrones, y'all. You don't know what's coming. So you got to keep your eyes up for that. Next scene, Tommy calls Ghost. Ghost calls Tommy, to just say, hey, did you put the gun where you need to put it at so I can execute this plan to kill Jason? And the look on Tommy's face told me that something was going to be a ruse.
Right.
What was you thinking about that scene?
Right. I mean, Tommy was dry during the whole conversation.
He even teared.
He teared?
He teared, yeah.
Okay.
He teared a little bit.
Well, when talking to Ghost, his voice was flat, like he didn't want to hold a conversation. And you knew he had something set up for Ghost. I didn't know if he had a bomb set up waiting on him or what.
Yeah, but you knew it was going to be something to put Ghost in a bad situation.
Yeah. And I said he was going to play along with it, but ended up taking a shot at Ghost.
And you was absolutely right on that one. Next scene, Rodriguez meets up with Dre. Dre hops in her car. And in essence, in this scene, she's putting the squeeze still on Dre. And Dre winds up snitching on Tommy and the crew and telling her where the warehouse is at. And the whole time I was basically saying to you, Dre is doing this for himself. He ain't just snitching just to be snitching.
Right.
And did you see that grin on his face like 50 Cent when he got out the car? He done took 50 Cent's little classic grin when he know he done something bad.
Right.
What'd you think about Dre?
Right. I mean, it was a setup. And he walked away, like you said, with a big old smile on his face. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, here Dre's at it again.
Yep.
What is he about to do?
Dre gonna take care of Dre.
Right.
One way or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The next scene, Jason and Ghost at the truth. And Ghost basically lied to Jason saying he wanted a solid partner for the QCP when all this is the big setup to kill Jason. He even convinced Jason not to come in armed. What'd you think was significant about that scene?
Knowing it's another setup. So he intentionally told Jason not to bring the gun. Jason, I think, was a little suspicious about it.
A little bit. He gave a little pushback. Don't tell me how to run my business.
Exactly.
But the problem is he has a soft spot for a man like Ghost who's a businessman. And that soft spot is what ultimately is going to lead to something that happened to him later on that we're going to talk about in this review. Next scene, Tate and Ramona meet. She basically lied to Tate about the meeting with the lieutenant governor. She didn't let Tate know that they already done worked out who they want to be the lieutenant governor. But at the same time, Tate mentions what we asked, who scorched the earth, and the person that scorched the earth was James, based on Tate. And basically he tells Ramona, I have a plan to get rid of Ghost. And what does Ramona do? She plays along with it.
Yeah.
She plays right along as if she's down for Tate. She even tells Tate, I'm with you, Tate. I got your back. And
definitely stringing him along.
Yep.
Until there's the right time to drop the news.
Right, exactly. The next scene, Ghost rolls up on Tasha at the daycare and catches Tasha exchanging money and just kind of confronts her about that, but is trying to get her to come with him to meet Tariq's teacher, and she's just like, nah, you go do it yourself, nigga.
Oh, goodness.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the significance of that scene?
So this was the first time we saw Tasha in this episode. And what stood out to me was that she was just as cool as a cucumber. You know, and I'm thinking, like, what is she going to look like when we first see her after she had committed this act?
Right.
And she just going on business as usual.
And she didn't even tell Ghost.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't. I was just surprised that she wasn't looking a little bit more kind of somber.
Distraught.
Yeah, somber than she was. And then the other thing I thought was she was being sloppy. How are you handling cash and business all out in the open, people walking by the window? That's, I think, very sloppy.
Well, we've ran a daycare before, and we know of people that have done such behavior, and I guess people just assume that you don't got nothing to worry about. But if your door is open and it's unlocked and it's business hours and people can just walk in, that is extremely sloppy.
I mean, this is in the front of the daycare.
In the front of the day,
windows and everything.
But with the doors unlocked.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Tasha.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Next scene, Dre calls Jason to drop the dime on Tommy. And lets Jason know that, hey, you need to let me be the new distro because Tommy about to get busted. And he lies to Jason, says he's got an informant on the inside. What do you think was significant about that?
Again, Dre just, setting up whatever move he's about to make. I was kind of curious how Dre got Jason's number.
Right.
If this is Ghost's Connect, I don't see Ghost giving Dre Jason's number.
Right.
So that didn't fit for me, but...
Well, maybe he had it because he was supposed to be at that meeting.
Yeah, he was supposed to be at the meeting.
He was going to be there until 2-Bit and the crew snatched him up.
But who would actually give him Jason's number?
Maybe Ghost gave it to him.
No, that don't fit. No.
Yeah, Ghost is not sloppy.
Ghost would give Dre, he can have Ghost's number, but
Ghost
not
is
Jason's
not
number.
Sloppy at all. So I guess
they had never met, and so you're just giving somebody a number to meet with the sorry.
Maybe they'll drop the dime on that later on. The next scene, Ghost meets up with Tariq's new teacher, Rat Noir. And what was significant about this scene for me was Ghost didn't know that Tariq had a pseudo job working at the daycare.
Yeah.
And when he found out about that, he was hot. What did you think was important about that meeting?
I mean, they're just making a connection to kind of tip Ghost off that something is going on with Tariq.
Right.
And of course, he's going to think back to Tasha because he knows Tasha's doing dirty in the daycare.
Yep.
I thought the teacher looked a little dirty during that meeting. He looked high during the meeting. I'm surprised Ghost, as much drugs as he done sold, he couldn't look at him and tell something is off.
Right.
And then why was the teacher like selling Tariq so much?
Because
he was like playing it up.
I think the teacher's playing it up because the teacher knows Tariq secretly is a drug dealer based on him knowing his history from the other school, and he wants to do business with Tariq.
So they were trying to play it off like the teacher didn't know.
Ghost is in the dark. The teacher know the backstory.
The teacher asked Tariq once.
Ghost don't know that the teacher know the backstory.
So we can just assume that the teacher is suspicious that it really is Tariq, even though Tariq didn't hide that he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Teacher ain't no dummy. He ain't no dummy.
But Ghost should have sniffed that out because the teacher looked a little dirty.
Well, Ghost's mind was entrapped when he found out what T was doing with Reed. Right. So that just probably took his whole thought process away. Which leads to the next scene. Ghost confronts Tasha at her house. And this was a major scene for me because I think this was the heel turning of Tasha. You know, she starts sticking her chest out. She starts saying, yada, 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 nigga, I'll tell on you, Terry Silver. And then what did Ghost do? Snatched her up. What did you think was the significance of that scene?
That's the pivot point.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, and we said the only thing, well, I said, and a lot of other people said as well, that the only way we could see Tasha turning on Ghost is if they had to do something to do with Tariq or protecting her kids.
Exactly.
And so Ghost threatened to take the youngest daughter away. And so that's, and then he put his hands on her.
Yeah.
And so now all bets are off. It's, me against you.
And then he did that petty thing, mushed me in my forehead the way he mushed her.
Oh, goodness.
Go and do it.
No,
Go and do it.
No, we all saw it.
No,
I had to do
some of y'all ain't see it. He took his finger, and she really wanted to do this, but she trying to act humble in front of y'all.
Whatever.
He took his hand and said, that's what she did. And that's the pettiness. That's a petty mush right there, man.
So disrespectful.
Yeah, man. Next scene, in fortifying his threat, Ghost got a burner phone, made an anonymous call to the police that T got drugs in there. Of course, the police roll up in there, Rodriguez, who is hot to trot, and they didn't find a damn thing. But how that messed up T, it ruined her stripper premiere. What was significant to you about that whole scene?
I mean, I think what stood out is basically Ghost making that phone call just shows me that he's doing everything that he thinks needs to be done to help protect Tariq. And he has his reasons for doing it. It doesn't make sense to him that his mama is helping him sell drugs. Right. And Tasha is doing everything that she thinks that she needs to do to help protect Tariq. Right. And so they're butting heads.
Exactly.
And so again, it's a turning point. So Tasha's about to go after Ghost. Ghost is going after Tasha.
Exactly. And the way this show has done, it's hard to tell what's going to be the final betrayal because they keep doing these crazy things, and we'll discuss it as we keep going. Next scene, Tommy calls 2-Bit and the crew, let them know they about to get some more weight, and Spanky has always been a little bit apprehensive with Tommy this season, just on some erratic stuff he's been doing, and 2-Bit ain't got over the shooting incident with Ghost, and they was in that ambulance. And so in this scene, you hear 2-Bit questioning Tommy like, hey, what's the deal with Ghost? And then Tommy's trying to get to the warehouse, and then his white, as Larry would say, affirmative action behind is hiding behind a fence, watching his crew get arrested instead of going in there and getting arrested with them.
Oh, please.
And 2-Bit was mad as hell, calling him a bitch and all kinds of stuff.
No way.
Now, significant for me in this scene, I've always told y'all from day one, 2-Bit was gonna split off and do his own thing. I've always thought he was gonna split off and team up with Tariq to be a drug dealer. This is it for them. This is that split. What did you think was significant about it?
Tommy is not going to be able to salvage that relationship.
It's done.
I mean, he
It's
did
done.
look suspicious standing behind the fence.
Yeah, didn't he?
That was a little too obvious.
Yeah,
He's
that was
standing
that-
out too.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for thinking Tommy set them up because
Right.
he made it. He sold the story.
I'm like, Tommy, hide your white head, man. Dad, you was behind a black barrel with your head sticking out. Come on, Tommy. Next scene, go ahead.
Wait, what if Tommy was to try to bail them out? Do you think they would,
Okay, that could
Agree.
work. That could work.
or do you think they would think he's trying to save face?
It's hard to say. I think 2-bit and spank is beyond the point of return.
So even if Tommy rolls up in there and bailed him out of jail,
They might be thankful, but they might be trying to split with him.
okay.
Because even Spank done picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be, that relationship is fractured. They're moving on to bigger and better things. It's probably going to be Tariq. Next scene, Dre got caught up with his whole crew, his new dudes. He's trying to make premieres. Only thing significant to me about that was Dre is just being Dre. Dre is just putting things in place. He's playing chess, not checkers.
He's building his army.
Next scene, Jason talks to Drago, that's his driver. The driver's telling him, look, take this gun when you go in there and meet Ghost. And he didn't do it. What do you think was significant about that?
They made you think that he did.
Or
So-
didn't. They left it ambiguous.
Yeah, so they gave him the gun. I thought he had it. I just thought I didn't know how he slipped it in past that metal detector, but I just knew that somehow he had that gun on
The
him.
whole reason Ghost wanted him to come. Did you watch how Ghost was looking at him, making sure he came through the metal
Right.
detector?
Yeah.
So I knew he didn't have the gun. And they left it ambiguous on purpose. They wanted us to think that he might have it, he might not.
Right.
You know. So then, of course, the next scene after that was Quentin meets Tasha at the daycare, and y'all know when Tasha gets emotional, y'all know things start to get a little moist with her.
Lamont.
All I said was moist. That's all I said.
Okay.
And
So-
Quentin is still adamant he can handle Ghost.
Okay.
He sees the bruises on her arms. He consoles her, and her and all her emotions falls into kissing him. So what am I wrong about saying she gets moist? Now, what was significant for you about that scene?
Next. Next.
You gotta have something to say about the scene.
You said it all. Next.
Do you think that Quentin can handle Ghost? Do you think she'd sit Quentin on Ghost? I mean,
Well, Quentin thinks he can handle Ghost. I mean, we still don't really know Quentin's backstory.
no, we don't.
In past episodes, Quentin was staring Ghost down like he could handle him.
Right.
He ain't had no fear in his body whatsoever in regards to Ghost. So there's a chance that Quentin may not listen to Tasha and come back and do something.
And get his little feelings hurt.
Or who knows? Who
Right.
knows who he is? He might have an army behind him. We don't know yet.
Well, we'll see. The next scene was the big scene that was supposed to be Ghost taking out Jason in the elevator. And while Ghost is pretending to tie his shoe and reaching into the little phone box where they have on the elevator if you need to make an emergency call, he hears Jason's phones buzz. And he's probably thinking to himself, why would someone buzz him at this moment? And at that moment, he realized the ruse was in. He turns around. Jason has one of those watches with one of those ropes that can cut through your skin. He tries to wrap it around Ghost. But we know Ghost is a real G. And Ghost stood his ground and took Jason out, drug him upstairs, and killed him. What did you think was significant about that?
That was when Ghost realized that Tommy set him up.
Yep. Yep.
And then that was the first big kill of this episode.
Right. Right.
So the drug game is over, it seems like, for most of them. Like, now they have to figure out who's going to be the new connect.
There's only one other person left, and that's Vincent. That's the only other drug dealer you can go to, really, unless they introduce others.
Ghost really don't care at this point because he's not trying to sell drugs anyway.
He's trying to get out.
So Tommy is up a creek, and so is Dre.
Yeah.
And so is, I guess, Tasha ain't dealing with none of them.
I mean, like I said, they can easily spin Vincent into this. Dre can go to Vincent. They can do that. Then the very next scene, they show Ghost just talking to the doorman, giving him a stack of money, saying, when this light skin, I'm using Ghost words, nigga, come up here, you call the police when you get in the elevator. You know, that was the next scene. What'd you think was significant about that? I thought the way they were showing that interaction, that maybe the doorman might double cross Ghost somehow, some way. What'd you think?
Initially, I was wondering why the Ghost flipped so quick on Dre.
Right.
But then, if you remember, when Jason got there, he said Dre called him and was trying to set up a deal with him. And so, you know, Ghost probably felt like he was going behind his back. And so, okay, Dre, you want to deal with Jason? Come on up here and deal with Jason.
Well, not to mention when Ghost killed Jason, he also texts Dre from Jason's phone.
Right.
And he texts Drogo, the driver,
Right.
from Jason's phone.
Right.
So, in essence, Ghost ain't never been there.
He was setting it up because he wanted Drogo
To think that Dre did it. Yeah. Yep. Then the next scene, Tommy and Ghost are on the phone. Tommy is highly upset because Ghost is like, yo, Tommy, why you set me up? And that's when Tommy drops on Ghost, you killed Lakeisha, and Ghost is totally like, I didn't do it. Tommy ain't trying to hear it. Tommy said, this is war, I'm coming after you.
Tommy ain't gonna believe nothing that Ghost says. Nothing.
So you pretty much felt like in that scene, there was no chance for Ghost.
No, not at all. I thought, yeah. It was a little contrived that Tommy was walking and still saying, I'm gonna kill you, Ghost, I'm coming for you. That just seemed so flat. Sorry.
It does. Then the next scene, Benny rolls up on Ghost at Truth. Tells Ghost, you lied to me. You said Eager, Unger, whatever it was, killed Tommy. Now, this is some of them same dudes that swear they know everything, kept trying to tell me that Eager, Unger meant Tommy, and I was like, no, the hell it don't. It don't mean that. And this episode confirms that it didn't mean that. Basically, this was somebody from Proctor's past that had beef with Proctor that really wanted to hurt Proctor.
And was out of town. Or out of the country. Actually.
We're out of the country, right. So Benny tells Ghost, you know, you need to tell me the truth. And Ghost said, I think it was Tommy. And what did Benny say?
Benny said when he had a bad vibe from Tommy when they met face to face the first time, and he let it slide. But I still think Benny let it slide. He let Ghost off the hook. Right. I don't think Ghost wasn't that convinced. He was just like, oh, well, if it wasn't Igor or Unger or whatever, then, you know, maybe it was Tommy. It was like, I would think that you were trying to protect Tommy.
Right. This is your man.
Yeah.
This is your man.
And so I think Benny just was pacified too easily.
However, what Benny, the insider information that saved Ghost is the fact that Benny knows how close Ghost and Proctor was, because Proctor had been telling Benny of the two which one was the crazy one of the two.
Right. Yeah.
Proctor gave Benny the inside on Tommy in the previous seasons that Ghost is really the businessman trying to get out the game, and that his only Achilles heel was Angela. So that's probably why he was able to separate his anger from Ghost and what was going on in this situation, and really believe that Ghost was telling the truth. Plus, Tariq brought Eliza Marie to Benny, which probably helped fortify the truth in Benny. Very next scene, this was like the Three Stooges. Tasha, Tariq, and Tommy meet.
It really was. Like, that's a great analogy. It's like the Three Stooges for real.
And basically Tommy is hurling insults about Ghost, hurling that Ghost is the reason for all their ills. He's gonna kill Ghost. He's basically told Tasha, he set me up, got my warehouse arrested, whatever. Tasha is telling him, well, he done the same thing to my daycare. All the while he's telling them that Lakeisha is dead, while Tariq is sitting there giving his mama that ice grill like lady.
Side eye.
He was giving her that bitch.
She had this weak behind, you know.
It was sad acting in that point.
Yeah.
Like,
and not even Tariq fell for it.
No, but Tommy fell for
Tommy
it.
fell for it.
Tommy fell for a hook, line, and sinker. So what did you think was the significance of that scene?
I don't know what to say about that. I'm like, why are all three of them together all talking? But I guess they had a common denominator is trying to get rid of Ghost.
Right.
So I guess if your enemies will get along just to get rid of you, so they all getting along, palling around. Tommy said he's doing it out of respect, letting them know that, but they not family to him no more. So what is he doing there?
Right.
It shouldn't even matter.
He's supposed to have done kicked them to the curb, but now that Lakeisha gone, he need them again.
So I think the whole point was just to let us know that Tommy wasn't buying or didn't believe that Tasha had anything to do with it. So he's not coming after Tasha right now because he thinks she's innocent.
And it could have been also to show that Tariq is growing up. He tells his mama, I'm going to protect you, whatever. And And with Tariq is a dirty dealer, man. Now that he's got this information,
you still don't know whose side he's on.
Right, you don't know what to do with Tariq.
Yeah, so he asked his mother again for the truth, and she told him that she killed Keisha. Why was he so concerned
about Keisha?
That Tasha killed Keisha without letting him know.
Right, why did he care about Keisha?
Yeah.
Like, what was the deal? That was weird.
Maybe it's the whole point that he said, I'm supposed to protect you. So maybe he feels like he was the one who should have took Keisha out and not get his mama hands dirty. I'm assuming. He looked like Baby Huey to me. I'm sorry. If y'all don't know who Baby Huey is, look him up. He talking about he about to protect his mama, and no, sorry.
Next scene, and this was a big letdown for me. Now, honey, you know I hate teases. I don't like being teased. But Power set up this character to seem as though he was going to be a big bad protagonist in the story, only to show up in front of Tommy with a knife that ain't no bigger than this, and I'm talking about Benny, ladies and gentlemen, tries to attack Tommy and gets his ass beat after this show set him up to be a big, bad, menacing adversary. How did you feel in that
That
moment?
was a huge flop. I think everybody got their little feelings hurt watching him get killed that easily by Tommy.
But the thing is, Tommy ain't no joke. Tommy ain't no joke.
But they set it up like Benny wasn't a joke either.
But
Benny had this big powerhouse behind.
It looked like it. This particular scene made Benny look like he was a weak leader, because what big drug adversary leader is going to come by itself?
Unless he wanted to avenge his cousin's death on his own.
No.
He wanted to do it himself.
No. Yeah, you can do it yourself with the crew. You ain't going to come up there with a knife.
I'm sorry, y'all.
That
was a huge letdown.
That was a tease, y'all, and nobody likes teases.
Yeah.
No.
And now the question is, are they ever going to figure out what's going on with this flash drive or whatever that Lisa Marie has in her locket?
I wonder. I
thought Benny was going to be the link for that.
They still got 6 episodes left. So, I mean, anything can happen, you know.
Goodness.
So, next scene, they show Dre get to the building where the setup is supposed to happen. He's supposed to take the fall for Jason dying. He gets in the building. The doorman calls the police. You hear the police coming. And then another doorman is out there taking a damn cigarette break, flashes the light on Dre. Dre, somehow or another, Dre is slippery as a snake in mud, gets away and makes it to Cooper Saxe's house. What was the significance of that scene?
It's showing you that Dre realized that he was set up.
Right.
So he realized that he don't have a connect no more. So now he have to come up with a backup plan for how to get his drugs to sell.
Right.
And then he knows that he's been set up, and somebody wanted him to take the fall for it.
Exactly. He know Ghost wanted him to take that fall for Jason.
Yeah.
So now he's got that information. He could be dangerous. He could go to Tommy now, something like that.
Now this random guy who's patrolling the roof, was this somebody that worked for the building? Now, are we sure that wasn't the driver, Jason's driver out there?
No. That was one of the doormen taking a cigarette break.
On the roof.
On the roof.
Okay.
On the roof.
He wasn't on the roof where.
No. He was like
on the roof.
He was on the roof like he was Batman. Yeah. Like he was about to jump from building to building. That's kind of roof. He was on the roof top.
Right. Roof.
What was
the roof
that?
of the roof.
Yeah, that corny mess Michael Jordan said. The roof is the ceiling. Get out here and make it happen. He was on the roof. He was on the ceiling.
Okay.
That's where he was at. Next scene, Ghost and Tate meet. Tate, go ahead and say what you want to say about Tate lips.
Tate's lip gloss was popping.
My lip gloss is cool. My lip gloss be popping. I'm sitting in my locker and all the boys keep stopping.
His lip gloss was cool. It looked like Tate just took his head and stuck it into a vat of coconut oil. Lips first. That stuff was greased up. But in essence, he told Ghost, I know you were responsible for the robbery. You made me shoot Alphonse, and I know your name is Ghost. Boy, is what he said to him. But then Ghost said, I got a surprise for you, Tate. Read that paper tomorrow morning.
Ghost is good at playing off that he's not Ghost. He didn't have years of practice.
Yep.
And so he didn't fall for, letting him know that, you on to me.
Right. And then the very next scene, Tate confronts Ramona. I don't know why I get joy out of this Tate Ramona, because Tate really think that these hoes want him. And he thought Ramona is passing up on a good deal with him. But Ramona in this scene says, Tate, before tomorrow comes, I just want to let you know, I'm no longer working with you no more. I know who Loretta Walsh is going to have for a lieutenant governor. He was like, well, who? James St. Patrick.
Now, when she said that, I was nervous for her. I'm like, why would you tell him and y'all the only two people in the building?
You thought he was going to try to kill her?
I thought he was going to do something to her. She said it in his face and looked at him like, I dare you to do something. And she strolled on out.
That's what makes me laugh with them two, man. Next scene, Rodriguez meets up with Saxe, and where is Saxe, his hypersexual self, in a strip club. Mm-hmm. How did she know to meet him there? She just knew. Mm-hmm. And basically she is admitting to him that she needs to get a little dirty. She needs his help. And she wants to know what more pressure points can she get to move this case along. Mm-hmm. And you know where he says goes. Mm-hmm. Tasha St. Patrick.
She couldn't have came up with that on her own.
No, she needs his help.
That Tasha was the weak point, or it could be the weak link to
No.
pressure her because she's one with the kid that she's trying to protect.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
She needs Cooper Saxe help.
Okay.
She needs Cooper Saxe.
Uh-huh.
So then the very next scene, Cooper Saxe and Rodriguez show up at Tasha Green front door. Mm-hmm. They come in, they push buttons on her, and Tasha done that sad acting again when they said Lakeisha is dead. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Tasha, come on.
Looking so concerned.
Yeah. I was like, Lord.
come on in.
Oh my God. I was just like, you can't see through that, man. Uh-huh. It don't take Stevie Wonder glasses to see through that one. You could have seen that. But eventually they put the pressure on her and be like, look, Tasha was like, I'll give up what I know about Ghost. He killed Terry Silver, I think. And of course they say, well, how do you know? She says, go to LaGuardia and check this car.
She knew what floor, what space.
She knew everything, which...
She knew everything, but she ain't know nothing.
But y'all stick with us because the very next scene, Saxe and show up, and Rodriguez show up to that car that's unlocked. Mm-hmm. They find Silver's body in the trunk, and then they find a cell phone. Mm-hmm. And we're supposed to believe that Ghost left this mess like this? Hell no. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think maybe this could be a final betrayal set up that Ghost somehow or another gets Tasha locked up. Because Ghost is not that dumb.
That sloppy.
No, Ghost is not that sloppy.
That lazy. At least not go back.
Right.
He had months and months and months to go back and move this car.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that Tasha didn't throw Ghost under the bus for killing Keisha. It's like, why not?
She could have. Right.
Why not?
Right.
It's like they were begging her. You know, Cooper Saxe want Ghost so bad. Mm-hmm. So he was practically, he wants her so bad to say that Ghost has something to do with it.
Right.
And it shocked me that she didn't say it. So I'm like, well, at least you can give her a little bit of credit for having a little bit of integrity for not throwing him under the bus for that.
Final betrayal.
Yeah.
Ghost gonna get Tasha in trouble for Terry Silver somehow.
Yeah. Now, isn't she an accessory though for, knowing Terry Silver was dead, knowing where he was, and not saying anything about it? They're just gonna overlook that.
That's why I think that this is gonna be a setup to get her in trouble. Ghost is not that sloppy.
Yes.
Just stop it.
They want you to think this. That cell phone, I don't think is gonna be Ghost, or I don't think it's Terry Silver's cell phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. Or if it is his phone, the last person that he called might be Tasha or something. Ghost might have fixed it so it can be Tasha. I thought, say Ghost dropped the cell phone. Mm-hmm. What if it really is Ghost and they take it and try to put it back and plant it back at Ghost's house, and now they don't have nothing linking Ghost to the crime scene?
We'll just have to wait and see. Next scene, Dre show up at Cooper Saxe's house desperate because he knows Ghost just tried to frame him and he's ready to do whatever Cooper Saxe want him to do. And that phone that Cooper Saxe found in that car that he didn't tell Rodriguez about, so y'all keep that in mind, Cooper Saxe still dirty dealing. He gives it to Dre and tells Dre to plant it in Ghost's house. This is how he's gonna save them both. And of course, Dre, he gets in Ghost's house. Now these cats can just get in your house like it ain't nothing.
Right.
Like, do nobody have a camera in their house? Mm-hmm. But anyway, Dre gets in Ghost's crib, plants the phone. What do you think was significance of those two scenes?
I mean, what's his name is trying to, what is his name? Cooper Saxe is trying to set Ghost up. Mm-hmm.
Save himself.
Yeah.
And
I
Dre,
still think it's going to be a twist to the cell phone.
It's got to be.
We'll see.
Yep, it's got to be.
Yeah.
They getting very Game of Thronesy.
And why is he doing it behind Blanca's back? Does he want to be the hero?
He wants his job back.
He wants to be the hero, and so I guess when they ask where did he get this, well, no, he's doing it on the low.
And he could be doing this to throw Dre under the bus too.
Yeah.
Because Cooper Saxe is dirty.
Who knows?
He's dirt. He's a dirtbag, man. Final scene of this episode. This was a good episode. They unpacked a lot of things. They threw us for more loops. Tariq meets up with Gossett True, throws the key back at Gossett. I don't need your key. They go back and forth about him being a good dad. They go through the conversation of Ghost saying, I don't want you doing these drugs. Tariq is saying it was good enough for you. Ghost is saying, you know, my pops didn't want me to do it. And in the end, he threatens Reek and tells Reek, you can't talk to me like that. I'm your daddy. Reek said, you ain't been my daddy. And then the final nail in the coffin, Reek said, you keep messing with my mama, I'ma kill you. Significance of that whole scene. It's a lot to unpack on that one. Let me tell you what I think. This is also a pivoting point for Courtney Kemp's favorite character, which is Michael Rainey, better known as Tariq. She's showing this is the point. Tariq is grown up. He's not afraid of his daddy, obviously, because because he just stood there and what you gonna do to me?
He said there's nothing else. Yeah.
Yep. So this is kind of a turning point. I guess we're trying to see the hardcore Reek. And I still think Reek is going to link up with 2-Bit, and they're going to be a crew. That's going to be his premiere somehow, some way. Give me your thoughts on the final scene.
Wouldn't 2-Bit still think that Tariq is in Tommy's pocket?
I doubt it. Why would he think that? If anything,
2-Bit doesn't know that Tommy fell out with Tariq.
If anything, 2-Bit would be more concerned that he's in bed with his daddy, and when he tells 2-Bit, you know, I got heat for my daddy, that might make 2-Bit be on Tariq's side.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I think Ghost just need to call it a wrap with Tariq. I mean, what else can you do?
Can't do nothing. Well, some people feel like Tasha. I've seen a lot of comments down there that says, you know your son want to do drugs, teaching the game. And you know how we feel about that.
Ain't happening.
No, if I'm not in the game, I'm not about to teach you. There's two things that's going to happen. You either go into jail or you're going to die. At some point in time. We ain't about to help you do neither one of them.
Yeah, it's like, do you want it on your conscience? So he telling Tasha, if something happened to him, that's on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, which was about the only thing he said right in that whole exchange that they had.
Right.
You know, he should have never put his hands on her.
Right.
He shouldn't have mushed her in the face. But if something do happen to him, that's on her. But then, given a counter argument, you could also say it was on him for not being around, playing a father figure in his life too.
Right.
You know, so folks, leave us all your comments, man. This was a good episode. They teased us. They threw us for more loops because they're going to take this story in other ways we didn't see coming.
And they gave y'all 2 kills. One not so surprising, and the other one was a dud.
Right, that was a dud. So let us know what you think. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like our video. Please comment, subscribe. Go get yourself that life game. If you want to get a Power t-shirt, check the video description. The link is in the box. And until I see you guys on Monday for my review of Power Episode 10, we'll see you.